Hello, second graders. Last week we learned about the life cycle of a plant. This week we're talking more about plants, but instead of talking about their life cycle, we're talking about why they're important. Over the next week, every day, I will be posting a video showing you how to, over time, make this accordion book. It's called an accordion book because as you unfold it, there are more parts to it, and it slowly unfolds to become this cool accordion type book. So today we're making the first part of it. I'm going to lead by saying to make this book, you do not have to have scissors. I can show you how to do the one cut you need to make by ripping and using your mouth to kind of soften the page. But you're definitely going to need glue, or you could use tape if you have that. Now, if you don't have scissors or glue, if you could just comment on the video and let your teacher know, we will try to get that stuff for you, and someone will bring it to your house or your apartment where you're living. Today we're making the first part of this book. Now what you're going to need to do it is a blank piece of paper, can be colored or not. If you think that this is going to be too challenging for you, and keep in mind we're making one piece at a time over the week, you can just take these notes in a notebook. So don't feel like you have to make this foldable in order to learn the information. You can just watch and take the notes. And if you're not going to be making the foldable with me, you can skip to when I start drawing. The first thing you're going to do is take your blank piece of paper, and you are going to take the right corner and you're going to bring it down so that your page becomes a kind of like a triangle, like so. So your page should look like this, where it has a rectangle on the bottom, and then the top has this big triangular shape. Now this strip, this rectangle, is what you're going to need to cut or rip off. If you do not have scissors, you can simply fold it, and then fold it back. And the more you fold it, the more it's going to weaken the piece of paper. What I do is I actually close my lips around this this fold, just to kind of moisten it a little bit, and then you can rip it off. So if you don't have scissors, not the end of the world. I am going to use scissors because I don't want to gross you out by licking this piece of paper right now. So I'm going to cut off the rectangle with my scissors that have seen better days. Now I am ready to start my foldable. You should have basically a giant triangle. After you have the giant triangle, you're going to fold it in half so that it makes a smaller triangle. When you're folding it, really press down to make some good creases. After you have a smaller triangle, you're going to unfold the page. You should have a square that has kind of like an X folded into it. And now you're going to fold it in half, but like a rectangle. So I'm going to take one side, fold it over, and flatten it so that it's a rectangle. And then after I have this long rectangle, I'm going to fold it in half again so it makes a square. Now my square should, if I turn it like a diamond, should have a line down the middle. That's how you'll know if it looks like this, you've done it correctly. After this, I'm going to unfold it so that one of these diamond shapes is pointing down. Now this is kind of a tricky part. If you have an adult that can help you, that could be great. You probably can get it by yourself though. What you're going to do is, on this square here, I'm going to lay my hand flat, and then I'm going to take my other hand, and on this line, on this crease, I'm going to bend it and fold it down. And then, so this square has kind of laid over top the other one, I'm going to put my hand here and fold it back so that I'm bending this line, I'm folding it this way. I hope this makes sense. Again, if this is too tricky, just take normal notes once I'm finished here. Now I've done this, I'm going to do it to the other side. So I'm going to take this part down, and then I'm going to bend it back, flatten it out. After you've done this much, it's going to be like kind of bubbling up, and you just lay your hand on top and smush it down. And you have made the foldable. Hopefully you were able to get that. If not, again, just take normal notes. But I am ready to move on. So each day I'm going to show you how to fold this again. If you don't want to try it today, maybe you want to try it tomorrow, you totally can. What I'm going to do now is on the top of this, I'm going to write the title of my book, which is that plants are important. And you could decorate it. Again, I did not tell you that you needed markers, so if you just have a pencil, that's fine. The drawing we're going to do today does require some color, so if you have crayons, colored pencils, anything will work. After you've done this, we're going to take this open side and we're going to push it back so that your square opens up. Your square should open up so that this title goes to the top of the back. And now I have this diamond that I'm going to be working on. Now, if you're not doing the foldable, now is when you're going to need to get your notebook and a pencil, because our first thing we're doing today is we're drawing the state of Virginia. Don't stress because it's not an exact drawing. It's just a general drawing so that we can basically tell that it's Virginia. We're talking about Virginia's plants today, which is why we're drawing the state. So at the top of my diamond, or the top of my paper, I want to make sure that I have plenty of space on either side. Because my paper is shaped like a diamond right now, I have a lot of space on the side. So if you're doing this in a notebook, you might want to turn your notebook so that it's wide, you have a lot of space. Towards the top of the page, I am going to put my pencil here, maybe make a dot so you know where you're starting from. And I'm going to make a U, and then I'm going to make like an upside down U. I'm going to travel down, make a bump, and as my line is traveling, it's kind of moving to the left of the page and down. And then towards the bottom, I do another bump, and then kind of like a long skinny line that connects. Okay, stick with me. Back up to my dot that I made, I'm going to do another bump, and then kind of a gradual swell. Towards the bottom, I'm going to do a tiny bump, and then a big U, and then kind of this line here. Towards the bottom, you're just going to do a straight line. Again, if it's not perfect, it does not matter. We know it's the state of Virginia. That was the goal. Over to the side, we've got what's called a barrier island that I'm going to draw just kind of like a cucumber shape over here. And now my state of Virginia is done. At the top of my paper, I might use colored pencil. You can use regular pencil. I'm going to write Virginia's plants, VIRGINIA''S, Virginia's plants. And then you could draw like a little tree. I'm going to be drawing a lot of leaves this week because it's just a plant that's easy to draw. Okay. So far we have this. Our next job is going to be to divide the state into its different regions. A region is just a section of land that is named and maybe has like a particular quality to it. So the first thing you're going to do is take your pencil and write up kind of next to this swell that we made, and by swell I mean this kind of like arcing line. I'm going to draw a line that moves down and just to the left slightly. This is called the coastal plain. So I'm going to be building a key underneath the state of Virginia. A key is something that tells me information that I need to know. So I'm going to leave an empty box because we're going to color that in, and we'll color this region the same color. For now I do an empty box, and I'm going to write coastal plains. That's what this section of the state is called. It's called the coastal plains. Coastal refers to being near the water or the ocean, and a plain is something that's flat. So this region, this area of Virginia, is flattish and it's near the ocean. Why don't you, if you're with me and you're making the key with me, I'm going to take a color. I'm going to use a colored pencil, and I'm coloring in my box the color that I chose, which is pink. And then this whole region, I'm also going to shade in pink, so I know that the pink is the coastal plains. I'm going to color the barrier island pink too. Coastal plains, done. The next section we're going to do is the Piedmont region. So you're going to go up this bump that we made, that's to the right of this U. We're going to do another line that moves down and slightly to the left. This is a very big region, and it's actually the region that we live in. If you want to come up to the middle of Virginia and just put a heart here, that's about where Charlottesville is. That's where we are. I'm going to color in my heart pink just so I know it's a heart, and then I'm going to use my pencil, make another box over here. This region that we live in is called Piedmont, Piedmont. This is the Piedmont region. I'm coloring in my box this aqua color, my favorite color. And in this whole region, you're going to shade in the same color that you shaded the Piedmont box with. I am not doing a very particular coloring job here. I'm really just scribbling so that it fills in with color. Don't stress it. Don't stress about it, I guess I should say. This is the Piedmont region. I need to know more about the word Piedmont. I believe that it is a Native American word. I do not know what the meaning is. I really should find out. Okay, this time with my pencil, or I could use the colored pencil, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to do the Blue Ridge region, which is where the Blue Ridge Mountains are. And so since it's mountains, it's a very small region. So I'm starting at the middle of this U, and I'm going to, again, travel down and slightly to the left. And then down here I'm going to make my next box, and I'm going to write Blue Ridge. And then I'm going to shade the Blue Ridge box purple. Again, choose whatever color you want. Or if you don't have colors, you could, instead of using colors to show, you could do like polka dots for coastal plains. You could do lines for Piedmont region. Be creative if you don't have color, but let me know if you don't have things to color with, because I will try to get you some. Now the last two regions are very different. This next region is called the Valley and Ridge region, and it is very big. So what I'm going to do is leave this whole space untouched. Over here, I'm just gonna kind of go like this. That region is very small. This is a very big region. I'm going to do my next box. I'm going to say Valley and Ridge, R-I-D-G-E. And I'm going to color it a color. I'm going to do this one blue. And so it's the point down here, all up. That bump. And then the last region is called the Appalachian Plateau. Some people say Appalachian. I used to say Appalachian before I moved to Virginia. But people from this area usually say Appalachian, and so I figure that's the correct way to say it. The people who are living here should know how to pronounce it, I guess. Appalachian Plateau, I'm going to shade it in the same color that I did the map. And now I'm done. I have shaded all of my regions of Virginia. Now that we've gotten this far, we just need to talk about Virginia's plants. So next to the name of the region, I'm going to tell you what plants grow there. Different regions have different landscape. We said the coastal plains are near the ocean and they're flat. The Piedmont region is very hilly, lots of hills. Some mountains, some valleys. The Blue Ridge Mountains are obviously just mountains. Valleys and ridges, it's a different kind of landscape. And then the Appalachian Plateau is actually, a plateau is something that is raised very high but flat. So different things grow in different places. The coastal plains, and if you have your pencil, next to coastal plains, I'm going to make what's called a colon, these two little dots. Peanuts grow here. I don't know about you, but I love peanuts and peanut butter, comma. Cotton grows here. Cotton is what we use to make a lot of fabrics and clothing, sheets for your bed, lots of things we use cotton for. And then soybeans, if you've ever had soy milk, that comes from soybeans. In the Piedmont region where we live, we can grow apples, tobacco, which is what they use to make cigarettes, and cabbage. You can also grow lots of other things in these places, but these are the main things that are grown and sold within the state. So the coastal plains are good for growing peanuts, cotton, soybeans. The Piedmont region is not great for growing those things. The Piedmont region is good for growing apples, tobacco, cabbage, as well as other things, but these are the three main things. In the Blue Ridge region, colon, there are lots of evergreens. These are the kinds of trees that are always green all year long. They don't lose their leaves in the fall. A lot of times we use evergreens for Christmas trees. Apples and corn. And then something that's funny about the Valley and Ridge, these two regions have similar growing conditions because the Valley and Ridge also is known for growing evergreens, apples, and corn. And in the Appalachian Plateau, mostly tobacco. These are the plants that are grown within the state for profit, for being sold. And so now what I can do, if someone asks me what plants are grown in the Piedmont region, I can refer to my map. I know that I shaded the Piedmont region green, so I know that this is the Piedmont region, and in this area of the state, the main things grown are apples, tobacco, and cabbage. You can do that for every single region of Virginia. Thanks for sticking with me. Tomorrow we'll make the next page of our book. If you are not making the book, you'll take a new page of notes tomorrow. By the end of the week, you're going to know a lot about why plants are important. If you are making the book with me, make sure that you save this because you're going to need it all week.